Are we ever going to learn this lesson? I don't think we are. Hey everyone, Jonathan here. Thanks for tuning in for this week's Gaming News Wrap Up, where we talk about all the gaming news from the last week. We didn't have a whole lot of big stories this week, so I have a bunch of small things I'm going to kind of hit in rapid succession. As always, every story I discuss is time-stamped in the description box down below, so feel free to scroll down and jump to something that interests you. We have some information about Wolverine, we have some game announcements, and some game release windows that have been necked down and maybe have a little bit more definite time frame. And I'm going to finish by talking about what's rapidly becoming my least favorite game in this industry right now. But before we talk about all of that, we got to get to our cover story, so let's get into it. And so, touching on that cover story, I want to reference this article from Insider Gaming from Monday, the 10th of August. More people are pre-ordering the $100 edition of GTA 6. And this comes to us from a CNBC interview with Strauss Zelnick, the CEO of Take-Two, which is Rockstar's parent company, where he says that the orders are trending and skewing towards $100 over the $80. If you're unfamiliar, Rockstar has said right from the get-go with the release that they're going to be having two versions, an $80 version, which is considered the base game, and a $100, quote, deluxe version, which is going to include 5 exclusive stores in-game, as well as other content such as certain cars, personalized weapons, and so on. And when this was announced, there was a certain amount of discussion about it in the fact that this is all created content that's already ready, and Rockstar is essentially charging $20 more for a handful of items. And some people were characterizing it and saying that the $100 version is actually the full game and $80 is kind of like a regular game minus. It's an incomplete version of the regular game, and the $100 is actually the full game. To me, this is no different than day one DLC. They've essentially got content that's already made, already packaged, already ready, and they cut it so they could monetize it, make a little bit more off of it, which is absurd because Rockstar was already going to make an obscene amount of money from this game when it released, and yet they're grasping it a little more. Maybe they think they've got to fund their next, 15-year dev cycle for the next one, and they've got to, make as much money as they can to stretch that distance. The point I made at the opening of the video where I said we're not learning the lesson is exactly about this. This kind of predatory behavior, and yes, I'm going to characterize it as predatory. This kind of predatory behavior exists because we allow it as consumers. People might say, well, $100 is a good value for the game. I said, okay, fine. Then I hope you enjoy that. I still see a difference between what they're doing with the base game and the deluxe game. And I don't like the idea. People will excuse it because it's Grand Theft Auto, but other gaming companies are not going to learn the right lesson from this. They're going to think they can do it too. So when you see this and it gets supported, expect to see more of it. And that a lot of people in the industry are saying this is what they need to push the price of games up to $80. Expect to start to see that become the baseline too. Even if other games won't support it, I think you're going to start seeing it. And I think we kind of deserve it as consumers because we keep supporting it. And the only way it will stop is if we stop supporting it. So if you enjoy AAA games, just be prepared. This is going to be our reality in the future. Higher priced games and probably games that are even more high priced to get quote unquote the full experience. I don't like it, but that's where we are. All right, we're going to keep it rolling here. We're going to go to the next article, which is also from Insider Gaming. This is from Thursday the 13th. Darksiders 4 and new Kingdom Come games expected release windows revealed, and this comes from Embracer Group, and it says during their first quarter interim report for fiscal year 26 to 27, and when I go and look at the actual report, it lists that first quarter as being from April to June of this year. So their fiscal year runs from April to March. And fiscal year 2027 will start in April of next year. It says for Darksiders 4, they have listed fiscal year 2027 to 28 as the release window, with Kingdom Come having the same window. So sometime between April of next year and March of 2028, Darksiders 4, reviving that franchise, and new Kingdom Come games will be out. So anywhere from 6 to 18 months from the posting of this video. Other titles included Warhammer 4000 Dawn of War 4, which is coming in December, so in about 4 months. February 2027, which features Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis and also Metro 2039. So a big month for them then. Tomb Raider Catalyst, which is, Legacy of Atlantis, I think is supposed to be a reimagining of the first game. And Tomb Raider Catalyst, the first new game in the franchise, listed for calendar year 2028. So it's at least 18 months out. And then they're doing remastered editions of Deus Ex and Thief the Dark Project. So a lot of games coming from Embracer in the next 18, 24-ish months, something to just kind of keep on your scope. No idea yet how any of these games, how good they're going to be. Remains to be seen. I think the Kingdom Come game will probably be pretty good considering that the last two have been, and Warhorse is making that one. So we'll just kind of see how it plays out. But anyway, new games coming. I mention this because it's important, but it's by no means certain. This Games Radar article from Wednesday, the 12th of August. Hogwarts Legacy 2 officially confirmed as a second installment of the Harry Potter-inspired action RPG in a new letter from Warner Brothers. Now, the Hogwarts Legacy 1 released in 2023, and despite some of the controversy around it and the IP's creator, J.K. Rowling, the game went on to sell 40 million copies. It was an unqualified hit and a success, and frankly, one of the few that Warner Brothers Games has had in the last few years. And a lot of people had been kind of jonesing for a sequel, for a follow-on. Well, they've now announced they're going to do it. However, of course, if you don't know, Warner Brothers is, of course, caught up in a major buyout action with Paramount Skydance is attempting to acquire Warner Brothers and all of their media market. That's being held up in antitrust lawsuits filed by several states at the moment. And, to be determined how that's going to happen, or what's going to happen, and how that's going to shake out. If it goes through, or, well, if it does or if it doesn't, the gaming part of Warner Brothers could be one of the fatalities in this merger or fighting off the merger, because either Warner Brothers has been operating at a credible loss. They are way in debt, and they're going to find ways to make it up. If the merger goes through and Paramount thinks they can make money off of this, they may keep the studios afloat, keep the IPs, and so on. If they can't, if it doesn't go through or they don't think they can, they could sell off the component parts. There's a lot of uncertainty. Warner Brothers right now is proceeding with the notion that they're going to be able to make this game. So they're saying it's going to happen. Even if it does, it's going to be years down the road, I'm sure, and at least 2 years, probably longer. So we'll just this is just letting you know that they have officially announced they want to do a sequel. Whether it happens, I mean, we'll find out soon enough, I guess. Next up, we have a couple of items on Insomniac's Wolverine, which is due to release on September 15th, or a little over 4 weeks from the posting of this video. I'll start with this Dual Shockers article from Thursday the 13th. Insomniac confirms Marvel's Wolverine will be playable straight from disc. With all the thrash that's been going on over PlayStation canceling physical discs, the announcement that this was going to be on disc was welcome. And as I scroll down here, the senior project director, Jesse Reiner Reed, has confirmed that Marvel's Wolverine will be available for purchase in both versions, physical and digital. Clarified you can indeed play the game straight from the disc as is, though it will be patched day one. So it's not going to be a code in a box. It's going to be fully playable right from the disc. And the way things are going, this might be one of the last games from Sony where that's the case, but we'll see how that plays out. Also along these lines, it seems like Insomniac is actually learned from their feedback a little bit, and this, according to this Game Rant article from Friday the 14th, that Wolverine won't be repeating a divisive Spider-Man 2 feature, and that is that Logan is the only playable character in the game. Now, Spider-Man 2 caught some flack because people were forced to play, not just as Peter Parker, but also Miles Morales and Mary Jane Watson, in unavoidable mandatory sequences. And and that created a little bit of friction. And I don't think it was a ton, but it was, enough that it was vocal and loud. So in this case, Wolverine will be the only playable character in the game. So between that and the discs being available and fully playable, it seems like Insomniac is taking some of the right steps to set this game up for success. And if the gameplay is good, they might be well on their way. What do you even say to this shit? I mean, seriously. This article from Insider Gaming from Friday, August 14th. Halo campaign evolved. Not having PvP was, quote, poor planning, says franchise creator. You didn't need the franchise creator to come out and sell us this. This was obvious to anybody with a functional frontal lobe that this was going to be a problem. I mean, the entire Halo franchise 20 years ago was practically built on its PvP aspects. Yes, I know the single player game was important, the campaign was important, but the PvP was just as important. And how did Halo Studios think they could get away with this? I'll tell you how.
Sheer fucking hubris.
And they're going to pay for it. They already have. They had one round of layoffs earlier this month, earlier in August. It's not going to be the last one. And this franchise is just going to continue to flounder. It's ridiculous. You know it's not ridiculous? Subscribing to the channel. It only takes one click. It lets me know that y'all appreciate what I'm doing here, and I thank you in advance. Okay, back to the news. Now, 1666 Amsterdam was a game that I saw during the Summer Games Showcase, and I thought it looked interesting. I know it's being developed by an outfit called Panache Digital Games, which was founded by ex-Next Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed developer. So it's got some AAA experience in the background. However, I see this article from PC Games In that says that their early access launches this month, and the author says, I'm equally parts worried and excited. I think the excitement comes from the fact that this is, again, from AAA veterans. It's a game about a witch, for lack of a better word, working in this kind of, in the 1600s parts of the Netherlands. And I think, in theory, you're supposed to be the good guy in this. I don't know a whole lot about the story, but it just looked very witchy, and it looked like there was a I'll speak one of these days, a day-night cycle where your powers vary depending on the time of day and so on. So that's what's that's the kind of the rub behind this. But it is now, as of posting this video, going to be releasing into early access in 9 days, and I think the early access release price is $30. Unfortunately, this game has already released its demo. The prologue has been released and is free for download on Steam, at least. I think also on Epic. But if I look over at it, you can see right there, it's got mixed review scores. In fact, 56% positive review, which is pretty bad. Maybe they're going to try and work out some of the kinks in early access. But I have mixed feelings about that too, because I don't like the idea of paying to be a beta tester for a game. That's just me personally. So I guess we'll see where this goes. But they are going to be releasing in early access in a little over a week. And I hate to say this because I say it so often, but we'll see what happens. Okay, a little bit of good news here. I know a lot of people are hyped for this game, for Phantom Blade Zero. It's going to release on October 29th. And according to this article from Insider Gaming, from Wednesday the 12th, Phantom Blade Zero costs less than $60. Slightly misleading. It's $59.99 US for the regular edition and $10 more for the deluxe. So $60 or $70 for the base and deluxe edition, which is, good. And for a game that's really going to be, in theory, we hope, a AAA experience, and they dialed it back to $60, I think that's a good thing. So this is coming out on October 29th. The pricing is fixed now. There is going to be on August 17th, I think it's at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific, a dedicated Sony State of Play with a deep dive on the gameplay of this. I'm probably not going to stream it, but I am going to try and watch it and check it out, because it sounds really interesting, and we'll get a good look at this game for the first time a couple of months ahead of its release. So anyway, that is Sony State of Play, August 17th, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. So check that out, and if it looks good, it's going to be priced less than a regular game, so you got to love it. Okay, I love silly conspiracies as much as the next guy, so I got a good kick out of this IGN article from Thursday the 13th. It says it looks like Bethesda hid the true name of Elder Scrolls 6 and Starfield years ago. Okay, and they said, as fans continue to suggest potential subtitles based on the number of asterisks in Xbox boss Asher Sharma's tweet, and she had tweeted saying, I've seen Elder Scrolls 6, with 8 asterisks, and it looks great, and blah, 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 blah. So people are immediately going, oh, there's eight letters in the title. Okay, a theory that Bethesda hid the actual name in Starfield years ago has emerged, and it's pretty compelling. Okay. It turns out Bethesda might have teased the name Sentinel in the Starfield character creation screen. As various members of the community pointed out, the character ID number in Starfield character creation screen spells out Sentinel perfectly if you divide the number in pairs and use the numbers as letters of the alphabet. This title was at our noses for more than 3 years, and we somehow missed it, and it shows it here. And I mean, that's pretty coincidental if that's not the case. Okay, it says the chances of this ID number spelling out Sentinel randomly are unlikely in the extreme. Yes. Now, whether Sentinel is related to Elder Scrolls or had some other meaning is undetermined. But we also have former Bethesda developer Michael Kirkbride replying yep to a Reddit post suggesting Sentinel is the name, so it feels like a done deal. Sentinel, by the way, is a major coastal capital of the Red Guards located in Hammerfall, with some believe the region in which Elder Scrolls 6 is set. Okay, so that's set off a whole new round of, speculation, because that's all we got right now on Elder Scrolls is speculation. I'm not getting too geared up for it because there's no point until we start seeing gameplay footage emerge or they announce a release window, an actual release window. Till then, it's all I just kind of like, yeah, whatever. But I admit it is fun to speculate. Well, I said it at the start of my video, and I mean it, and it is the fact that Roblox is rapidly becoming my least favorite game in this gaming space, and I've never even played it. It actually has nothing to do with the game mechanics or anything of the sort, but it's the environment surrounding the game. As this GameSpot article from Friday the 14th perfectly illustrates, Roblox is now the target of a congressional investigation here in the United States. And it says U.S. Senators Josh Hawley and Dick Durbin have announced that Roblox will be the subject of congressional investigation amid claims that the gaming platform is a threat to child safety. And then this is from their open record where they talk about it. Now, this is key right here. Hawley, a Republican from Missouri and a rather conservative one, and Durbin, a Democrat from Illinois and a rather liberal one, added that Roblox, okay, if you're unfamiliar with American politics, to get Republicans and Democrats to agree on almost anything is a significant step in a direction. For the fact that these two gentlemen have come together and are both expressing concerns about this game and about this company indicates just how seriously people are actually starting to take this. Okay, their letter added that Roblox reported over 65,000 instances of suspected child bad things to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children of 2025, more than doubling what it reported in 2024. And Roblox Corporation is being ordered to preserve records and turn over certain documents. And this is just the latest in a long line of government interest in this game and in this company. It's been sued by several states. It's been outright banned in several countries. And even if they are off by a more order of magnitude with that 65,000 number of children having bad things happen to them through their gaming platform, even if it's 10% of that, that is still entirely too many, and they are not doing enough to combat this. And I think the fact that you're getting a bipartisan effort to look into this company and basically start to call them to account is significant in of itself. Because normally these sides can't agree on whether water is wet or the sky is blue. So this tells you, that this company is actually drawing a lot of scrutiny right now, and almost all of it is negative. And then just to dovetail onto that, this Game Rain article from Thursday the 13th, kid steals thousands of dollars to buy Robux. Now, I'm not going to remotely pretend that this has never happened, and the article cites other cases of other games where these type of things happened, and we've heard stories of, children using their parents' credit cards to buy thousands of dollars worth of stuff off Amazon and so on. I know this happens. However, this is just one more black tick against Roblox at a time when they don't need any more. People will use this. The people will cite this particular incident and others like it as evidence that the game is addictive and is predatory towards children because they feel the need to go buy all these Robux. So this is just another set of knocks against this game. And like I said, I've never played it. I've only seen video of it. I only have the vaguest idea of how it functions, but I am really starting to not like it because the ecosystem around it is seeming more and more polluted by the day. And at some point, you can't rebuild, you can't clean it. It just has to be torn down and either started over or scrapped altogether. I don't know what's going to happen with this. It's a congressional hearing, so it may amount to anything. In fact, that seems likely. But yeah, this company, in my opinion, is definitely not earning a good reputation. It's earning its bad reputation because this is ongoing. This is continual. Nothing seems to be getting done. And if they are unwilling to provide better protection for the youngest, most vulnerable members of their player base, what are we really doing here with them? I shut it down. All right, y'all, I'm going to wrap this one up. As always, I appreciate you tuning in and watching the video. If you enjoyed this content, please consider leaving a like on it. Drop a comment down below if you want to discuss any of the stories I talked about, whether you agree or disagree. That's all good. I just like the discourse around games, and I love to talk to people about it. I do read all comments. I try to answer as many of them as I can. And as always, if you think I've earned your subscription, I thank you in advance for that and appreciate it. Okay, I'm going to watch the Phantom Blade Zero State of Play coming up on Tuesday. Like I said, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. In a week from Tuesday is going to be the opening night of Gamescom. I'm going to live stream that, so mark your calendars. Otherwise, I will be back next week with another weekly roundup, more quick bird gaming news, and more stuff to talk about. So until I see you next time, you all take care. You go out there, live your best lives, and you all stay gaming.